And we're live for the mayor's update. Sans the mayor.
Where's the mayor?
The mayor is on his way or in the airport. He may join us, but the likelihood is low. He's on his way to Germany right now. So thankfully, Paul, the chamber CEO, has joined us to talk a little bit about the Impact Awards and what's coming up in April, because the chamber has a pretty awesome show put together.
Yeah, well, I mean, a whole bunch of credit goes to Grayden if you've been at these events in the past. We do some really awesome vignettes for the nominees who were recognized for their business excellence in our community. But yeah, April 12th, our Impact Awards are set for at Memorial Arena. So we're changing our location this year, but we're really
epic.
Yeah, we're really jazzed about that. And we have Jeremiah Brown is our keynote speaker. He is an Olympian that 4 years before he won the silver medal at the 2012 London Olympics, he was sitting on his couch trying to improve himself as a person, or looking for, his...
I do that all the time. I sit on the couch and try and improve myself as a person. So I can already get behind this guy.
All righty. So how many Olympic medals do you have?
None yet. But they're aspirational.
Right. So yeah, we're super jazzed about him joining us. And right now, and again, for the viewers out there, our nominations are open. So you go to stthomaschamber.on.ca. We've got 7 categories that were revamped a little bit this year. But we want to know about the excellent businesses in our community, the amazing nonprofits that make our St. Thomas, Central Elgin, South a great place to live, work, and play, the young and up and coming entrepreneurs or professionals. We've got a new Green Award this year as well for those businesses making an impact in the space. Thanks.
Appreciate that.
I know I didn't even have time to prepare for this, but that are really, into sustainability as not just an add-on to what their business does, but kind of at the core. So if you know someone or a business that you want to recognize, people from the public, happily, we encourage you as much as possible to nominate those favorite businesses, those up and coming professionals that are making a mark in our community. So again, stthomaschamber.on.ca. You can find the link to put your nomination in right from the homepage.
And the Impact Awards is one of these amazing events that happens in St. Thomas that not enough people go to. And this year it's going to be a circus theme.
Yeah, it's a circus sports theme / perseverance / tenacity. Again, kind of building off of Jeremiah Brown's story of sitting on a couch and 4 years later being an Olympian. But it's a fun. We're always a positive group at the chamber, but it's a fun celebration of business excellence, and we're really going to lean into that. But yeah, we're pumped to do it at Memorial Arena. I think a lot,
and the food. There are going to be 6 different local vendors.
Yeah.
Providing a smorgasbord of delicious culinary delights.
100%. And community. Full disclosure, then Grayden's part of the planning committee for that, does the AV in real time, works with me in some crazy ideas in advance to make it as fun as possible. But ultimately what we want to do is we just want to recognize excellence in our community. We want to celebrate that. We want to empower or inspire the next generation of people, and being like, if I get involved in my community and the impact that a business can have. And again, the pun, I'll use impact a lot. The pun's not even necessarily intentional, but super important. So yeah, it's a great, fun, all around event, but just a true celebration.
And if you have any questions about businesses in St. Thomas and area, ask Paul live. He can answer any of these questions here, right now.
I can try. He's pumping my tires.
I'm sure he will. He's very modest.
I will absolutely try as well. But yeah, again, without the obviously we need folks out there putting in their nominations and saying, hey, you know what, you should recognize this, or you should look at this business and the amazing work they do.
Let's talk about some businesses right now in our community. You and the chamber put together, and CBD Photography, Candace, an amazing job. You put together St. Thomas District 2023 Wish Book.
Yes.
And Amanda did the graphics.
Yeah, Amanda DeVries, Eye Candy Design did that. And then maybe you've seen the copy out there. That's Santa Claus in this case, I'm not ruining any traditions or anything, but
Bring it real close. We want to see
okay.
like Paul is also, if you get a
Oh,
classic Christmas figure.
Yeah. So I'm the Scrooge in this. I'm not sure, but Scrooge and Santa are shopping downtown. We still have a few more print copies at the chamber office, which is now located at the Queso station. So if you want a print copy of this, we'd love to hand you out one. And then otherwise, obviously, it's up on our social media, St. Thomas Chamber, on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
Let's look at the Total Plumbing Solutions picture, because it was really the standout for me, I think.
Yeah, and we should have whatever. The second page, I actually
is it the centerfold, Paul?
It's not the centerfold. You
It
want to
looks like
let's
it
do a
is.
quick centerfold pitch though. But that's for our good friends at the Downtown Development Board, who've done some amazing Christmas events.
Where you shop.
But I'll see if I'm doing this all right to Grayden specs. But we've got
Tilt
Adam
it down a little bit.
Adam
Really
Beverly. There we go. I'll just hand it right over.
Here we go. Here we go. You can see Adam Beverly there in the tub, just enjoying a nice glass of wine. And you see there's numbers on these, and that's different products that are being highlighted, local products in the community. And then off to the side there, you can see all the different products that are listed. So if you check it out, you can check it out online, or you can get a hard copy.
Yeah.
And you can see all these amazing gift ideas for Christmas time. And as many of you know, the best time to buy your Christmas presents is right now, because it's almost Christmas.
No, I mean, stereotypically for men, I think we're a little bit early, but
it's true.
I actually was downtown just last week, dropping off some of these to Purely Wicked, Given, Myrtle, Streamliners, Espresso Bar. So you can find your copies without even having to stop by the chamber office. But again, we would love to see you there.
And the chamber office is now in the Queso station.
Yeah.
So it's right downtown,
Yeah.
super easy to get to. You can just walk in, say hi to Paul and Christy. I'm still always surprised. I walk in and I'm like, oh, Paul, Christy, how are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were downtown so often, and I think that's where chamber needs to be. And obviously, we miss our friends on South Edgeware, but very important, obviously, to be able to serve our membership as best as possible. So it's great to have there. Can I also plug then? I do a show on Rogers TV called Meet the Makers. And we have an episode up, and again, I don't know if you can throw this in the link or whatever, but that looks at, behind the scenes of the Queso station, which celebrated this year 150 years of existing, and it has its historic legacy. But I think the coolest thing is now we're building up what it is currently, what the future is, when you're going to reflect on, well, what did this space mean? Sure, it was a cool place that Babe Ruth went through on his way to
Marilyn
baseball
Monroe,
games, right? Like all those cool things. And I might not be Babe Ruth or Shohei Ohtani or anything like that, or I Love Lucy, but at the same point, what we're doing and how we're using that space is amazing. And I always love to think about, what did that take to actually be in place today? And that was just really tenacious, determined people in our community, a lot of volunteers, but who said, hey, this space is worth preserving. It's meaningful to our community. And that wasn't government funded. That was by the bootstraps, by the nickels that they were collecting, the dimes, to actually maintain and renovate that space. And I'm a bit biased because my office is there, but I'd like to think that that's in a lot of ways the heart of our community.
Absolutely, I agree. And the different events that are there, aside from the pillars, which get in the way of everything, aside from that. But there's something quaint about that too, because now it's a thing. Like you say, oh, the pillars, and everyone's like, oh yeah, the pillars.
Yeah.
And then it works out.
But I mean, like aside from private events, weddings all the time. But on Sunday they had a Christmas fair. As part of that, I mean, we do.
There's a classy upstairs room. Was it the Anderson Hall or something like that?
Yes. No, Anderson Hall is the main hall.
No.
The Farley waiting room is the second one. Then upstairs is the Elma room.
Elma room?
I think it's the Elma room.
It's the upstairs room.
It's the upstairs room.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. And
they all hold a private event. Has its own bar there, which is sculpted from different pieces of wood.
Well, and I mean, you were out there because you're a board member for the Chamber of Commerce as well. But we had our AGM most recently there. We use that space as much as possible. It's just awesome. It's a super cool space that kind of gives you those feels. And I mean, they threw up, and I don't want to dismiss the effort they put in, but they threw up a few Christmas trees at the Queso station, and it's this quintessential, beautiful kind of Christmas feel that you have to it as well. So yeah, we're big fans to be downtown in general, at the Queso Station in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this episode, I chatted with Will, who runs the building, and we were able to go down, down into the basement, the old school living quarters, the attic as well. And it's really cool because I didn't know about any of this and just that behind the scenes kind of piece. So that's what we featured in our most recent episode.
Love it. Meet the Makers. It's on Rogers. I'll post a link if I can, but the news is still getting curtailed.
I think
by
we can do it because
Facebook.
it's on YouTube. We've
So
done
YouTube will let, and Google has just sorted their stuff out with the
we
Canadian
hope
government.
the $100 million for media for our entire country.
But only for large media corporations, not for small media companies. To be clear, I don't get anything from this, but the large media corporations will get massive tax dollars from Google, which is very nice for them. We're
not cynical. I'm pro-business, but
it's totally fine. Rural Ontario, we got this. We'll just do it ourselves. Speaking of bootstrapping, but there's a lot of cool stuff happening in our community that's not just small time business. And we're talking like the Volkswagen plant. I was out at the site. I was able to take photos with the big event that PowerCo had there yesterday, where they flew everyone in from Germany on the site to take photos and talk about the fact that it's ready to go.
Well, can I interview you for a second?
Sure, yeah.
Like with the people showing up, like what was their general, did they have something in their mind's eye for St. Thomas? Obviously, when you're going to invest billions of dollars, you know a little bit about the community, but like, did you get any feedback or hear anything? Like, or did you have a chance to chat with anyone?
I didn't chat with too many people because I was taking all the photos. So I was taking the photos, and then I popped the drone up and got the shots.
Always,
and then I had to
always working.
I had to bring the drone back, and then we went back to their temporary office in St. Thomas, got more photos, and then I had to edit all the photos. So I didn't really get a chance to talk to the German contingent that much. But the people that are here now, that are working here, are just fantastic. Really lovely, lovely folks.
And how many would that be right now?
I think it's around 20 to 30.
Okay.
Somewhere in that zone.
Also located downtown St. Thomas.
Yeah.
Right now.
And they've got several local people that they've hired on as well that are working within that office, which is really great to see.
Awesome. And then yesterday's milestone, that was, obviously the biggest thing right now is the site prep.
Yep.
And I learned a lot of this. So I'm like literally just regurgitating what Grayden's told me. But there was a transfer. Was it an official transfer? Or was it just saying, hey, we're at this stage. This is where we needed to be ready.
This is where we need to be ready. We are good to go. And this is a big deal. Like they put it out on their press release through Germany. So all the photos are up there and the whole press release talking.
Who took the photos, Grayden?
You know what? I took the photos, Paul.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know. Yeah. So now they're internationally
He's
seen.
on the wire. He's on the news wire.
Yeah, I'm on the news wire. Yeah, absolutely. It's like they all went out and they're getting shared across the world. Everyone's talking about it, and it's incredible. They signed a battery, so I got photos of
my gosh. All right.
Signing their battery cell there, ready to go, and it's like a glass case.
Was there an excitement? Like, I mean, because I think a lot of here that maybe there's some nerves or reluctance or whatever it is, but I think there's truly otherwise the palpable sense is just excitement and
very excited. But yesterday was tempered by the cold.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember, but it was very windy and it was very cold. So people got out of their cars.
Yeah.
And they got the shots and they got right back in
their cars. They're like, well, we did put a big factory in Canada, even though we're the banana belt.
The banana belt was feeling pretty chilly, I have to say. Yesterday, St. Thomas Downtown Development Board is commenting, says, "Hey, Bob and Doug, and how you doing?" I think that's a reference to Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I got my World Tubing Championships hat on from my previous career at the St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital Foundation. So
you have to bring them back and tell everyone what the World Tubing Championships is, because this is an incredible thing. The Worlds were hosted right here in St. Thomas, Ontario.
Well, we were looking.
How did that happen, Paul? Who brought that here?
We wanted to do a fundraising event that took a little bit away from, not your typical fun run or whatever. So we organized and self-proclaimed, but whatever.
No one else is doing it.
We did it 2 years. 2016 World Tubing Championships as a fundraiser in that particular year, I remember, was for the special care nursery at the hospital. So I think we raised over $100,000 to renovate that space for our community's most fragile people. And it was amazing. But the first year we did it, it was, no snow up until like 2 days before the event. And then, the day of the event, we got about, I don't know, a foot, dropped 20 degrees. So it was like minus 20 that entire weekend. Beautiful, perfect conditions. Lovely event, awesome energy, a lot of fun. As I said, great amount of money raised. Following year, because this is Canada, the weather was plus 17. So that my modest 37 degree swing in weather made made the event a little bit different. So we had to move all our activity to the Friday because we had to make snow.
And how did the snow get made? Because this is a pretty great story.
This is going to be your whole episode.
That's fine.
We're just talking
totally
about
okay
it already. So the late and just amazing human being, Rob Broadbent, who was the chief of fire at that particular time, was instrumental in this. But we in the previous year we tried to make snow because we were still worried about it. We got the natural snow, that was great. The second year we just knew we wasn't going to happen unless we made it. So we contacted the London Ski Club, or Bowler Mountain. They were very generous enough to provide us with one of their professional snowmaking machines. And they're like, yeah, but you got to get it down from London to St. Thomas. And they said, this needs like a flatbed truck to do it. This looks like, I don't know, I guess people ski or whatever, just a big cannon, like just gigantic, like something that would be,
you've seen them if you've ever been
on a plane, right?
Yeah.
Like Joe's at the airport right now, but like the big engine on the plane just shooting out snow. So anyways, we got Tony Fangett from Trade Tech, as well as Brian White of Steelway. They got the equipment back to us, and then but London Ski Club said, hey, you need to have super high pressure to be able to do this, because what you shoot out the water, the snow gun at a super high pressure, and then the snow gun's going to break it up, and then it will be able to freeze at temperatures actually above freezing, can make snow in different conditions. And they're like, the only thing you're going to have in your community that's going to be able to pressurize this is a truck from the fire department. So reach out to Rob and said, Rob, this is the situation. He had to take it to council. So God bless the council back in the day, and said, like, what are you doing with this? So he had it. So he had the fire truck. He's like, okay, I got approval for the fire truck. Now we have to ask the firefighters to volunteer. So kudos to all you firefighters that were out there on the hill. And he's like, yeah, great. Like I got a dozen firefighters at 8 o'clock till midnight. They're going to be out on the site. And I'm like, Rob, like, that's awesome, man. Like, I'm so super appreciative, but it's not going to be cold enough to make snow, because it was 17 degrees the next day.
17.
And like, it was warmer. It wasn't as warm from that day in February until like late May. Like we never actually hit like that. And if you're going to fact check that, I'm going to be wrong, but it's something like that. It was really dramatic. And so I'm like, Rob, we actually need these firefighters. They need to show up from 2 till 6 in the morning.
And like, how much money do you have from sponsors at this point? So like, how much pressure is on you in terms of the dollar figure?
Gosh. And I mean, even the teams, like, it was $1,000
for a team to go,
for a team to participate.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was to become a world champion, but that we might not have had the legacy or the reputation for that to fully matter. But no, we had it was everything. Like people are like, how's this going to work? And I mean,
what's the dollar figure? How much is riding on that?
Oh, sponsorship wise, probably $80,000.
80,000. So you had to come up with an event, and you had no snow,
and we had to nail it. Because I mean, people are like, what's your idea? Like, it's always the second year was a little bit easier despite 17 degrees. Cause you'd be like, well, I don't have to tell you about it. I can show you photos of this. I can, all these different things. And the photos from the first year look like this winter wonderland of this one weekend of snow that we had that particular year. We just nailed it with that. But yeah, no, it took years off my life. And you'll notice that we did 2016, 2017. And then we stopped because it was a little bit too precarious. But the going back, just to, like the firefighters, Rob in particular, just how generous they were given of their time. Like, they weren't being paid to be out there. We were able to, have the generosity of the truck being lent to us for that night. But it was really invigorating. Like, I mean, it as a story in retrospect. Yeah. Amazing. Love it. No regrets at all. In real time, no, I was stressed out to all end. Like, I was nervous.
I can only imagine.
How's it going to come together? And we're trying to figure out timing. And I've still got friends to this day being like, and they did it the first year, and the second year they called their team time malfunction because they were convinced I wasn't doing the timing right, but it was lovely. I still see these toques around town. I think we had about 1,200 of them over the course of the 2 years. Yeah, it was, and I get people asking me about that all the time. Would I do it again? Man, I need a lot of pressure, but no plans right now to do
I would
anymore.
love to see it happen again.
I know we still in the late Ken Monteith's garage, we still have, or barn, Ken being one of the finest gentlemen our community's ever produced. We still have a number of the tubes left over and available. And there's a little, we're in Port Stanley right now, and I'm just looking up East Road right here, but there's another little hill that I'm like, well, maybe if there's just the right snowstorm, you get 24 hours notice, probably not costing you $1,000 to participate, but let's reinvigorate this from just the fun nature of it. It was over the top ridiculous. We wanted to create an event with no discernible skill, but was still ultra competitive, and I think we nailed those two elements.
And speaking of being in Port Stanley, I think that this is the first time that neither Joe nor I have been live from St. Thomas in over 4 years. This is the first episode where we broadcast and we're not actually, one of us are not actually in St. Thomas. Like we're basically playing hooky in Port Stanley right now, the quaint little village, which I love. And it feels very it's great. Very special.
You want what? And I love Port Stanley. Grew up in St. Thomas, living in Port Stanley now for a decade. Love it here. But the way I approach the chamber represents St. Thomas, Central Elgin, and Southold, and the businesses there. Sure, we have membership outside of that area, but that's our core. But really, it's a cohesive community, and I think, funny enough, when I'm living in Port Stanley, when I'm going to the city, it's not London. I'm going into the big city. It's St. Thomas. You go downtown shopping, or you're going to the bigger grocery stores. That's kind of how it is. But I really do treat them as part of, the census metropolitan area of St. Thomas and Port Stanley and Talbotville. And
this is part of the G.
What would that be?
STA.
Yeah.
The greater St. Thomas area.
Done. Yeah. And otherwise we fall in, because I'm a dork like this, and I find it interesting, but we fall in our CMA. We're actually just part of London. So when, London proper on their signs, I think they're about 440,000 on their street signs. But when they say, London being the 11th largest census metropolitan area in the country, Kitchener Waterloo being immediately above us. And I think we're going to get into the top 10 not too long, because we're a growing community. But we're in with that. So that's London, St. Thomas, and Strathroy, not Elmer. So I'm not sure how they necessarily divide that. But if St. Thomas was its own census metropolitan area, it would be roughly 65, 70,000 people, which is, pretty big city. It would be top 100 in the country, I'd say.
Yeah. And what I love about established media is we've survived 5 years plus so far. And this year we finally hit my magic number of reaching over 100,000 people within the 28-day period.
And that's from this or everything?
Everything on the photos, mayor's update, everything.
Yeah.
We've just cracked 100,000 reach for the month. So
but this guy, and you were accusing me, or not accusing me. I think you were saying I think you were saying it complimentary earlier, being like, well, Paul's out there. He's out to everything. And I had someone say that the other day. Not even when I sleep. I don't have kids either. Beyond that, the kid piece, your
kids help. You don't sleep at all.
Everywhere. You are just, and I think that's, again, so important to be able to tell the stories of our community, to be able to celebrate those businesses. And what you do is invaluable, because you know what, if you wanted to learn about and obviously Mike Kirkfleet, the comedian, also worked for the city, or for economic development of the city, but he's a comedian first and foremost, but helps tell the story about the progress of the VW site, the Beehive, exactly.
We've got it documented from the very beginning, before any shovels went in the ground, all the way to now, and all the way to the end. And we're going to tell that story. But
again, pumping Grayden's tires, going back to one of the greatest things we have is that people care. I really wanted to swear right there. I'm not going to, because this is probably a kid-friendly Facebook or online piece, but when people care and they want to again either celebrate or just raise awareness about things in our community, Grayden being top notch, kind of being there at everything, or even events, we're in touch on the daily, being like, I didn't even know about this. I mean, my whole job, the reason I have a paycheck is because I'm supposed to be in the know, and I'm being like, I had no idea.
You know more
hey, sometimes I'm not sure what I'm supposed to know as well.
Well, I usually know more than I'm supposed to, so I have to be careful what I say,
right?
because I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying some things
right
publicly.
So hopefully we didn't just damn any contracts here as well, but
no, it's been incredible, and it's been incredible to be, shout out to the chamber as well, to be a part of the chamber and meet all the different businesses that are a part of that, and that has been instrumental in my success in the community.
Well, again, I appreciate the pump of the tires, but that said, I mean, we really are a dynamic group. We're growing in diversity. We're growing a little bit younger. We're maintaining the legacy of what made our community always a great place to be. But when we're pushing 600 members, and by comparison, London's about 1,100, the London Chamber of Commerce, 10 times the size of the community, only twice the size of our membership. It's a great place to connect. And it might just be social, like depending on how you want to use it. It might be just networking or connecting.
It's the business after fives, it's that has been a massive boon for me. Like, as someone who left the community and came back. Yeah. It was a great way to connect in with other people and find ways to work with them on different projects.
And even going back to my career at the hospital foundation, I mean, I would use the chamber all the time. I go into those business after fives and being like, okay, you want to what's one? I want to just meet with my buds. Yeah. I want to see people I know, want to have a drink, just kind of hang out, connect. But I'd always be like, okay, well, what am I going to get out of this? I'm going to leave with at least 2 business cards of new business I know. So I could go there, the course of 12 of those over the year, that's 24 new, not cold calls or not cold contacts. Those are warm. Those are people that you would know, or that you've met, or you've had a conversation with, or might be aware. I mean, sometimes people try to avoid me because I was ultimately going to ask them for money.
It's a great feeling. When you walk into the room, and people are like, "Oh no,
that guy, that Jenkins kid again. He's either going to get me to loan him his loan me his snowmaker, or he's going to ask me for $500,000. And you want to what? I might do both. Might do both. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean,
could go either way.
I mean, that's the value. But I also think, again, what our community has going on, and I haven't lived in too many other communities, so I wouldn't know, but the access to be able to participate, there is a space for people that are new to the space to actually feel comfortable and empowered to be part of that. And I think there's a willingness to collaborate or not let egos get in the way. So you want to know what? If we can partner with Employment Services Elgin and Fanshawe College and other organizations to do a job fair, the chamber, plays that small little part. It doesn't all have to be about us. We don't necessarily need that glow. It's the impact of what we're doing. It's the reasons we're able to devote to that.
It's the reason I came back to this community. It's just, it has that welcoming, like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's all get behind it and do it.
How long have you been back?
I've been back since 2014, technically.
Okay. So, what's the technicality?
Well, I came back and then I was working for the History Channel. So I was basically gone for 2 years.
Big swinger over here.
Yeah. No, I was sleeping here, and then I would go to Toronto, and then we'd fly out to wherever, film, and then come back to Toronto. And then I'd come back home, and I was like, I need to come home, because if I don't come home, if I didn't come back when I did, I would just live in Toronto, and that would be my life.
So you were here a year after me. So I moved back home in 2013. What have you, even from then though, I feel like we're a different community. We're a larger community.
Oh yeah.
We're a growing community. We're growing in diversity as well. Is there anything else you've noticed, even over maybe the last let's even go post-pandemic? What have you seen?
The culinary options have exploded. And I am so grateful for that, because I love all the different options that are available now. And it's we just didn't have stuff like Plaza Sushi. I'll give them a shout out. I love them. You know, it's like, and you can go there and it's not just sushi. It's like you can get anything on the menu, and they have a massive menu.
And their Korean's awesome. Sorry, fully biased.
They're Koreans and they're fantastic. Yeah, and you taught in Korea for a while.
Yeah, for a year. Yeah. But you're entire, like, again, like I don't think everyone realizes that when you're still in your 30s, but when you're a little bit older.
I'm not in my 30s.
Are you not?
I appreciate that. That's great. I appreciate that.
But you know, like I think about it, like, I mean, by the time when I left to go away to university, I'd never had Japanese food. I didn't have Korean food until I landed in Korea. And you know, you have all these different options, whether it's the clay oven that just opened downtown St. Thomas, the Indian grocer that opened up next to M&M Meats in the Little Caesars Plaza across from Home Hardware. Just our access.
Shawarma. We have 3 different shawarma options, I think.
Yeah.
Like that would have been like, that was inconceivable when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like we had Fast Food Alley, and that was, you know,
right.
There was a little Vietnamese place which isn't around anymore, which was amazing.
Anybody that makes excellent Vietnamese food, love to come to St. Thomas. I think that would be a bang up opportunity.
And like, I love my burgers, but you know, I want to have the variety.
Yeah, and we have that now. Like, I mean, and that's growing. So I think it, like, you know, I asked the question just to give myself an opportunity to respond, but I think we are on the cusp. We are in the midst of something. Not even on the cusp. We're in the midst of an exciting transformation for our community. So maybe the challenge is, how can we balance what makes us such a great place to live, work, and play, or always has, with the change that's going to happen? And how do you incorporate that change into the kind of the broader community building movement? Like we do an awesome job of building community here, whether that's our civic organizations, the Optimists organizing the Santa Claus Parade in St. Thomas, or the multitude of groups that are supporting our organizations. I think it's awesome. And
Jackie Anger is commenting on here, and she works with the YWCA.
Yes.
She's doing a job fair for the children's sector. Childcare sector.
100%.
And we need that.
For sure. And obviously we built that brilliant new facility across from our brilliant new park, just next to the library. And I know there's still a struggle to actually get the ECEs in there, so we can't necessarily operate the capacity that we do. I know through the chamber, actually, had a recent conversation. We're going to start advocating a little bit more aggressively for that piece. But obviously, as the subsidized daycare comes into place, that's going to be just put even more pressure. But again, you know as well as we, you need places to live. You need the salary to be allow you to live.
I think the salary is the hardest point. They need to raise the salary for the early childhood educators. Otherwise, they're just not going to get the people, because they won't be able to buy a home. They won't be able to have a family. They'll be looking after kids, but they won't be able to look after their own. And I think really that's the problem.
Yeah. But again, if you're out there, maybe you're not from St. Thomas watching this, you're an early childhood educator, look to St. Thomas. You'll get a sense of a community that's immediate, that is a place for you. And quite honestly, we want you. We're growing. We're growing, and we want, and we need you.
And one of the greatest options is the home child care, which is an option that you can also do. So if you say you're, you've got some kids, but you want to look after some extra kids on the side, there are great programs available that you can tap into through early childhood education, and then make some extra money there.
Which is like, if you've got the space and you've got the energy, like, I mean, to me, like, God bless you, Jackie, because I don't have the energy or the patience.
Jackie's a saint. She's amazing
to be able to do something like that. But if that's your kind of your jam, the opportunities right now are incredible.
Absolutely. And Brett Longfield's saying a dedicated ramen place. I think that would be okay. But I mean, again, I said Plaza Sushi, and their ramen is amazing.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is so good. So yes, and he's saying also, Brett is also saying a renaissance, perhaps. A renaissance for St. Thomas. I think that's definitely happening. Dale Cummings is saying we need a good hot dogs place.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I just watched a food review, and they were talking about the chili cheese dogs at Unusual Finds, which is right across from my studio on Talbot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And so I got to check it out. So Dale, I don't know if you've gone to Unusual Finds and you've checked out their chili cheese dogs, but it got like a rave review. So and it's just like your classic chili cheese dog. So very good.
I love it.
Brett's talking about Paul alluding to the return of the World Tubing Championship when joking about borrowing a snowmaker.
I will put a kibosh on that right away. Because it stresses me out. It was lovely. It was awesome. If someone else wants to do it, I will happily chat them through what we were trying to do. If I do anything, it's probably just throwing it on the social for my own friends, saying, "Hey, come back. We're gonna go tobogganing. I got a whole bunch of tubes."
Yeah. And Jackie's saying, we're all hiring so many awesome childcare organizations here. It's absolutely true. Touch base with the YWCA and they'll put you in touch with everybody in terms of jobs for being an ECE, whether you're going to be working within a facility like the one that just opened over by the library, or whether you're starting your own child care facility. Because what we have here that you might not get other places is amazing support systems. So say, for example, you're working with the early childhood educator system here, you can, if you've got a doctor's appointment, you can call them, they'll bring someone in to look after your children for the day or the appointment time, and then you can come back. And if you're just like an independent operator, you don't have that ability. You have to tell your clients, like the parents.
I told you you're in the know. I'm nodding like I'm like, yeah, look at all those research. It's
incredible. You have an emergency, you call someone's there to look after the kids.
I was today years old when I learned that.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. And again, but that goes back to the broader thing, collaboration, caring, understanding that, oh my gosh, I was just about to use what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't even know what that means. So I'll try my old one. It would be like,
if it's good for you, it's good for me.
Okay, right? Like, yeah. And again, you think about the Chamber of Commerce and business, deregulate, don't tell us what to do. Government gets in the way. And I mean, there's absolutely points of that. But no, it's creating those space, those conditions, being like, hey, I want to start a business, or I want to relocate my business. Does this have good schools? Does this have a sense of community? Does this have, in our particular case, nice weather or nice-ish weather? Does it have? Is it next to a blue flag beach? All those different things. Those are all
like the one in Port Stanley.
We could walk there on the
right
next
now.
Episode. But to having all those things, so it extends beyond that. You want to invest in the broadest community, so that, hey, I can go to school here, I can get a job here, I can raise a family here, I can open a business here, and you're going to have the support of the community rather than feeling like you're, always trying to convince someone that you're trying to do something special or do something right or do something invaluable for the community. I mean, Mayor Joe, and this is his reputation now, starts with yes. So what's the question? What's the problem? And I try to mimic that as best I can. How do you want to improve it? Like, you're one of my chamber members. You want to do something that benefits my members? 100%. I mean, go for it. We've got limited bandwidth, I think, as all businesses do. But if there's that passion from that individual, the city of St. Thomas, or in my particular case, the Chamber of Commerce, we're conduits for the impact that you might want to have.
It's a great resource, and we're gonna have to cut it off because I know that Tim at Rogers, who is an amazing fellow and does all the editing for the show before it goes on Rogers, he's gonna kill us because we're at 38 minutes. We're supposed to be at 30, so
we were talking to them.
We pushed them.
Oh my gosh, how are we gonna do it? What are we gonna talk about?
I know, right? Because we're like, the mayor's not here. Like, he carries the show,
and now they're like, what is it gonna take to shut us up?
Right? They're like, bring the mayor back, please. This is enough. All right. So, but we should say, safe travels, Joe, on your way to Germany. We hope you have an amazing time with you and the crew. Yeah.
And I just want to say to any viewers out there, obviously, Merry Christmas. We're just at the start of the 8 days of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to everyone else who celebrates that. Happy Diwali. There's all sorts of ones I'm going to miss, but at the very least, as you go about the holiday season, just be safe, take your time, then focus on what matters, and that's families and friends.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. See you next week.